Call the meeting to order and roll call.
Albertine Allen. Here. Dennis Carroll.
Here.
Marty Corley. Diana Gore.
Here.
Melody Haynes.
Here.
Abigail May.
Here.
Nancy Moldenauer.
Here.
Mary Ellen Quinn. Tyra Robinson Walker.
Here.
And that is everything.
Not me.
Yeah,
me.
Oh, she's officially on there?
Yes.
As is Mrs. Lang. Mrs. Lang.
Is that,
Yes.
first name is that Judy?
Judy.
Okay. Bonnie Dempsey?
Bunny Dimke,
Dimke?
Dimke.
Okay, I noted that they both are present. And we have a quorum.
Thank you. With the minutes from the last meeting, there were a couple pieces that I believe we wanted to vote on. Am I remembering that correctly? That we didn't have a quorum? Or,
Right.
okay. Well, I guess first, does anybody have any amendments for the minutes?
Well, I had a question about me being absent. I have never been absent in my life for this meeting, but for some reason,
I think Pastor Carroll, you had a bit of that there was a bit of confusion. We had talked about maybe rescheduling the meeting to accommodate the holiday.
okay, it's still perfect.
Sure. Yeah, it's all relative. Yeah, absent yet perfect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. We had talked about having some cases to look over, and in the minutes it says that the people who were there would take those two cases, but the minutes should read that the people who were there would take one, and that Carl was reaching out to the commissioners who were not present to see if they could take the others. It was going to be myself, Nancy, and Marty on one, and then Mary Ellen and anybody else that Carl was able to reach out to who was not at the meeting for the second one.
Can I ask, where does it say that you were going to take both of them? It just says that you agreed to serve.
The way I read it seemed to indicate, because the sentence was in reference to two cases.
Okay. Okay.
That was my recollection also.
Yeah, the way
That's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, the way I read it, it looked like the people who were here were taking both cases,
Okay.
and that's not what we agreed on.
That was the only other thing I had. Anybody have anything else? Okay.
So we'll have to approve those minutes, and
I feel sorry for the hesitation. I just felt that there was something else when I had looked over these earlier that we wanted to vote on, but had tabled it. I guess I must have been wrong. You can always come back to that if I find out later. Okay, so motion to approve the minutes with the amendments?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Any further discussion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Finance report? Marty's not here. Did he send anything over?
No, yes.
Okay. Executive Director's report?
I would like to welcome Ms. Julie Lang and Bunny Dimke to the Human Rights Commission.
Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
Thank you.
And that being said, I'd like to pass around the roster, and if your information is on there or needs updated, update it so that the personnel office may have the appropriate information. Let's see. There will be a disabilities awareness conference. It's got correspondence from the state. There'll be a conference held on November 17th through 19th. I have details in the complete information packet that they sent. It's really very detailed, and it looks like it's going to be a great conference on disability. A variety of topics. They even have special rates for caregivers to attend as well.
How much is that? When is that?
It's November 17th through 19th. It will be held in Indianapolis. Complete details are in this packet, or you may go online at www.indianadisabilityconference.org for further details. So if anyone can attend that, I know Joanne normally she's probably going to be there since she is down in that area.
I'm trying to go. That's part of what we do for minority health.
Okay. Pass that around. You might want to take a look at that. At last meeting, we received correspondence from the Drifters organization, and they once again are sponsoring a Till Death Do You Tweet. This time it's going to be held at the Holdcraft Theater. Last year, we were supportive of that event, and it was held at various schools, and it was an awesome event. So there was a letter, but of course we didn't have any quorum around. So if the commission feels that they would like to support the event is going to occur on the 8th, and not the what's the proper date? October 8th and 9th. So the young lady that put on the presentation, she did an awesome job. She even has been on Good Morning America. I highly encourage our organization to continue to support it, as well as attend, if you can.
So Carl, I'm
I
sorry.
think we're probably gonna say the same thing, go ahead.
Carl, the last time the focus was the students, so this time are they trying to get the families involved along
No,
with the
this
students, or what's the target audience?
As I would understand, this is the 7th and 8th graders at Michigan City area schools.
Okay,
So
And last
this,
year,
and
maybe Tyra can talk to that.
last year they did get the parents involved. The parents had an actual, their own session at the library to kind of educate them on all of those ins and outs and tools and things to be able to monitor kids in reference to the social media bullying and cyberbullying aspects of it. So it's still that parent component with it, but it's in a smaller setting.
it's the 7th and 8th graders,
It's the 7th and 8th graders.
all together, both of the schools. Okay, thank you.
With the event being October 7th and 8th, do we have enough time to do what we would need to do to approve it here and then,
has it gone to the financial committee?
no?
No, and we're not within the 45-day period either.
So, yeah, no, we're not able to. I think even with the 45-day period, even if we had received it for our September meeting, that wouldn't have been enough either. So I guess we would just have to let them know, you know,
To hear from them sooner.
yeah, really, yeah, that's too bad. But yeah, the 45-day, maybe we should reach out to the organizations who tend to take advantage of the opportunity to get sponsorships from Human Rights Commission and make sure everybody's aware of that. Because that is a longer lead time than what you need to have with, you know, a lot of other organizations. I'm sure they just don't know. Okay.
Okay. Next, something that's near and dear. We received communication from Cincinnati Office of Human Relations addressing their Real Men Wear Pink. And I know last week, or last month, we got a call also from Miss Kay Hill.
She's a new ED.
For our own, to support our own Miss Allen and her upcoming Real Men Wear Pink that will be held this
Where did they get that name?
Universal, as far as I know. But anyway, Miss Allen is having an event this weekend. Miss Allen, would you like to talk about that?
This weekend we're having a ball at the Morat Shrine Temple, and it's entitled Real Men Wear Pink. All the funds raised from that event will pay for mammograms for men and women in Michigan City or LaPorte County, and part of those funds go to the National Breast Cancer Association. So I'm encouraging everyone to come out and help us fill that room and pay tribute to those people that have fought a good fight, and some of us are still here. It's a good cause. Men have cancer, breast cancer too, and mammograms by the time we finish are $500 plus. And if you have insurance, some of the insurances don't always cover that cost. And so we want to ease that burden, because sometimes if you have to buy groceries or pay the rent, you forego the mammogram. And I don't want anybody to do that. So I'm asking everyone to buy a ticket and give it to someone, but to help us fight that cancer.
I will buy a ticket.
Thank you so much.
How much are the tickets?
The tickets are $50.
And where are they available?
I have some in my purse right now, but you can pick them up at the Minority Health Coalition's office. We're at 2601 East Michigan Boulevard, or you can buy one at the door. I'd like for you to have the ticket when you come, because that gives us a good count for the catering service. The RAC has been very good to us. He gave us a rate on the place. We always have a good meal, and we're going to have good entertainment. There will be 10 men from Michigan City. Thought I had 10, now I have 9. That will be modeling something pink for the women. And it's really a fun night. They walk out into the audience and give someone a pink rose or a pink carnation, and they just strut their own stuff and, walk back around. But it's all in fun, because we don't have any professional bottles there. It's just a good evening, and we have a good time.
Well, thank you.
Great.
And finally, the Commission on Social Status is having their state conference, and they're trying to take a group of young men from Michigan City down to the State House, and that will be October 29th. Marty is in charge of it as far as Michigan City goes, as he's trying to get people to attend, chauffeurs. And they sent around a memo today. If anybody wanted to attend, they go down with the young men and ladies. They wanted to know your name today if you were willing to go down there. They're trying to get a bus, so those are all the details we have right now. If you're interested, talk with Marty. That's all I have for my report.
Can you move this back, Carl?
No, ma'am.
Question, Carl, are we set on the probable cause committees now?
No, we're not. At this point, I've got rid of Jeremy Sales, and we're reviewing the cases, and we're trying to go through issues on all our cases and trying to streamline the cases, so we're still waiting on them.
Okay. And what is our status now on the number of commissioners? We've got 2 new ones, and what is we?
We're now at 11.
We're at 11, so 1 left. Okay, good.
Anything else?
No.
No. Okay. Staff attorney report?
I have no report. I just want to welcome Judy and Bunny again. Welcome to the commission. I think you guys will enjoy it. And if you have any, I'm Larry Arness, by the way, if you don't have any. If you have any questions, just feel free to reach out.
Thank you. Thanks.
That's all I have. Abby.
Maybe as we go through and do the committee reports, we could just give a very, very brief description of what each committee does, so that our new members might get a feel for what they might like to lend their talents to. Social status?
Social status, on that, well, we need to raise money to take care of different projects. Naturally, we always need money, everybody does. And but I think it's very important to realize that as commissioners, that we don't have to wait for a fundraiser to go out and be a commissioner independently, and we can try to raise funds for certain functions. At least that's what I've been doing. Also, I want to, before I go into this next thing, seeking support from commissioners to talk with banks and credit unions. You probably already heard that before, but I'm saying it again. Benefits of African American community and the community as a whole, to add much needed diversity. We talked about that at social status. Adding diversity takes pressure off African American males that deal with being stereotyped by others. including other African American males also as well. I know that in my neighborhood, when there's school that is going on, and I have a lot of kids in my neighborhood in their teens, and I'm asking them what they're doing. Are you not in school? And, well, what good's school gonna do me? Well, big deal. And I've got a lot of that in my neighborhood, and so I have a chance to really reach out to them, and I think that's what, as a commissioner, that's what we need to be doing. At least that's what I've been doing. Also, I would like to, let's see, I just got this for Merry Christmas, Commissioner Latoya. Mrs. Garrett needs a head count for the number of adults attending the conference. I have confirmed Tracy and Marty will be in attendance, and you may or may not know this. If commissioners would like to attend the upcoming Black Males Conference in Indianapolis, I believe maybe you've already mentioned that, so I'm rerunning that. So at times I will rerun what Mr. Carl has to say.
I have the minutes, but it's not.
Because that's what I'm supposed to do. So, and the telephone numbers are on this sheet. I'll pass this around. I've got a few of them. I don't know, maybe Carl.
Pass one to the right.
Pass it this way. And so anyway, for social status, that's all I have for right now.
Thanks, Pastor Carroll. Executive Committee, we did not meet since this past meeting. We had met the meeting before. Larry pointed out the thing that I think was standing out in my mind about needing to approve. He has noticed that we were to approve the budget. I don't think that we're in a real position to do that here today because we don't have it in front of us. It's not.
It was attached to my September 3rd minutes, and Carl just said nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed. This is it.
I can pass it around again if you guys want to look at it, and you can vote at the end of the meeting if you'd like to do that. If you'd like to do it that way.
Is everyone okay with that?
I'm not bad with that.
Okay. Sure. Special events. Mary Ellen isn't here. So we'll skip through special events. Scholarship Committee, Marty's not here either. Fundraising Committee, Melanie?
Yeah, we haven't met since last meeting, but I do know that we're still trying to get a date for that sip and paint. And then we're also going to include maybe costumes too and have a little costume contest.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing else to report, and hopefully we'll get together before next meeting too, so.
You're hoping to have that planned before the next meeting or have it?
Yeah, we'll have a date, we're supposed to have a date soon, I don't know if I can
Okay.
talk to you about
No,
it.
yes,
Okay, so we're hoping to have that planned before
All right.
the end of the month for
Great.
the sip and paint. As far as another meeting, I'm hoping to have another meeting with them before the
Okay.
next meeting.
Sounds good.
Because we have other things that we're thinking about to throw out there, hopefully for fundraising.
Great. Education Committee, I sent out a doodle poll. If anybody's unfamiliar with what that is, it's to avoid the interaction of me sending out an email and saying what are some dates that work for you. It cuts all of that out, and it just gives you 6 dates that work for me, and it asks for you to select all of the ones that would work for you, and then I'll choose this Friday, October 4th. I'll choose whichever has the greatest attendance. So if everybody could look for that, that would be great. For the Education Committee,
Okay.
so the Education Committee, we have a scholarship that we offer. It's an inclusion, I'm sorry, not a scholarship, a grant that we offer. It's an inclusion grant that is available to all of the schools and after school and youth programs in Michigan City to be able to do a project that focuses on inclusion in education. Last year, we awarded 3 grants for that. That happens in the spring. But we also were hoping to be able to do a fall winter project, not a grant, but a project. And so at the meeting, I just have a couple of ideas that I'd like to run by anybody who would like to be involved with planning what the project could be, and take in anybody else's ideas of what types of projects we could offer. And also keeping in mind that our inclusion grant is focused on youth, and that education is not just for youth. So hoping that our fall winter project could be adult education. Thanks. Yeah. Governance?
There's nothing.
Martin Luther King Committee?
Okay, so we are kind of stuck with our keynote speaker right now. So the one that we are interested in, that may be interested in us, exceeds our budget. So that is in negotiation process right now. And so as of right now, we don't have the keynote speaker, but we still do have our entertainment. As you guys remember, CJ Music was the entertainer the last couple of years, who writes his own music especially for that particular event. And as well as we have our MC. So right now, keynote speaker. And so we can't send out anything as of right now in reference to advertising about it, or posters, or any type of anything, until we get the keynote speaker finalized, to be able to have our contributors still say, yeah, this is something we still want to be a part of. So as soon as I hear, I was going to just email Carl and maybe get it out to you guys. But I know in reference to our budget item, a line budget on there, that commitment is already made. So I don't know if Finance Committee still needs that, because in the past they haven't, since it's already a budgeted line item in our budget to do every year. But, so I'm kind of...
As long as we approve the budget.
Yeah, as long as we approve the
I
budget.
guess you can approve the budget and formally approve the
We can.
donation, so that it's on file, so that we can process it swiftly. Because, do you know the deadline for the money?
It's usually the first or second, I think it wants to say second week in January is usually the deadline, in reference to making sure all of our information is on the marketing material.
Well, I was talking about our monetary support, how soon, when do you want it, if it's approved?
It doesn't matter,
Okay.
as long as it's not past that second week in January.
Okay, because they generally try to clear the books here in
December.
December.
Yeah.
So, for the record, I would suggest entertaining a motion specifically approving the donation.
Should we even have that as a motion until we approve the budget, and then after that, we'll
We
look
could do
at
the
that?
budget first, and then we could do the,
Okay,
we could do the motion.
so, sorry, not much exciting news except the...
No, I appreciate the update. P-Flag?
Yes, our upcoming meetings are for October 24th, which is the last Thursday, fourth Thursday of the month at 6:30 p.m. As usual, the meeting will be held at Art Space Uptown Artists Loft on the upper floor there in the community room. That's at 717 Franklin Street in the Uptown Arts District in Michigan City. Also, last time I said I would get for you the date for the November-December meeting, because the fourth Thursday usually conflicts with Thanksgiving and Christmas. So the December meeting is going to be on December 5th, which would be the first Thursday of the month, again at 6:30 p.m. It probably will still be at the Artist Space Uptown District Artist Lofts. If it's not, then we'll have an announcement. Otherwise, I know that we're actively looking for other space right now.
Great. Just before we move into old business, since Mary Ellen wasn't here and we have new commissioners, we have the special events committee, which the biggest focus for that committee is the luncheon. It's a luncheon fundraiser for the Humanitarian of the Year and Unsung Hero of the Year. Thank you. So we seek nominations for those awards, and we sell tickets. And it's by far our biggest fundraiser for the year. Mary Ellen spearheads that event, but is, very receptive to any help that anybody would like to give.
And if I could add an addendum to that, she's asking for new and fresh ideas this year also.
Yes.
So I know some people that talked to her about like a wine, cheese, appetizer type event. That's one of the ideas that's come forth. And she's open to ideas from anybody that's a part of the commission.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
it's
Yes, so
a
don't get
constant-
locked into a luncheon.
Yeah, 'cause we used to have dinners, so we used to have dinners, and then it kind of switched to luncheons. So we're not locked into anything.
Right.
And I think she was inquiring as to whether
Yeah.
people wanted to
Yeah, for
do
sure.
something other than the luncheon. So
I think that she was also hoping to have a meeting soon. So we can follow up with her about that.
How is the humanitarian of the year selected? Is it
So
in the paper, or do you ask for nominations in the newspaper?
yes, and after last year, we had talked about being more mindful of making that call for nominations more, more public, more get a broader reach there. Just making sure that as many people in our community as possible know how to be able to nominate someone for that. And then it's just once the nominations come in, then anyone on the commission who is willing to read the nominations and be on the selection committee serves.
Okay, and what are the qualifications? Is there somewhere where I can look that up? We don't need to take time now.
Sure. Carl, could you send her the nomination
We
form?
currently have, I believe we currently have it on our Michigan City website.
Okay.
I think that might be the 2019 edition as far as the dates, because we haven't determined for 2020. We're uploading a new website. I don't know if it's fully active yet, but
But I can find it there and past recipients. I mean, I probably have read it in the paper, but I don't remember.
I'll make sure you
do
have
we
it.
have all the past recipients listed? That'd be a good thing to have.
I believe I do have it.
Nice to.
We
Let's
put
go.
it inside.
Can we review? Was it
It's in
2015,
the-
Marty?
No.
No, not Marty.
Let's not do
I
that.
just wanted to, because it's only 4 days, because for 2017, I can't remember the person.
It's a great idea to have them listed on the website. If they're not currently, that's definitely something we should do,
I
for
think
sure.
in the paper sometimes they show some of the past, but they don't
Right.
show all of them.
A lot of people don't read the paper,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah.
Don't receive it here.
That was one of the talking points. Absolutely right.
Okay, Marty's not here to talk about scholarship. Would anybody like to talk a little bit about what the scholarship committee does, or we could wait for him to do that? That'd be fine.
Well, I'll add some on that. Over the course of the mayor's golf outing, one of the participants indicated that he has a lot of money available for scholarship that he would like to give away to our youth. And if any of our commission could find a use for it, he would certainly welcome donations. Marty, he specifically is familiar with Marty, but just a thought that this is actually I'll say the name because he told me to say it, not what but he's from Mr. Lubeznik.
Oh, okay.
So he
So
indicated,
is this for a scholarship for school?
yes, he has money.
Okay.
He said he has over $200,000 to give away in scholarships. So if we want to be creative and come up with an initiative, he certainly would be supportive.
Great.
of
Did you
that.
let Marty know that?
I haven't seen Marty about this. I'm letting the commission know that now.
Wow.
He's just familiar with Marty. That was a way to open the conversation up about things.
It would be great if you could send Marty an email and let him know that, and then Marty might be able to hold a scholarship, call a scholarship committee meeting, and we could, and anybody who's able to serve on that committee could talk about what that initiative might look like. Great.
Yeah, just a reminder for new members that all the committees, just because you're not listed on a committee doesn't mean you couldn't come to a committee meeting. So everyone's welcome to come to.
Absolutely. So the committee chair will call the meetings, gauge attendance, like what I had said with the doodle poll, but I think it's best practice, like when I sent out the doodle poll for the education committee, I just sent it to the whole commission because you might, for a good 6 months not be able to do anything with the education committee, but then your schedule opens back up and you are. So I think that's pretty much the common practice, is sending the meeting notice to the whole commission and hoping that commissioners join as many committees as they can give to.
But
They should.
Judy and I would not have received that, right?
Not yet, I just didn't have your email, but I do now.
And they should be going out to the public. These meetings, mostly all of them are open to the public, so it's not that you guys are special, although you are.
Well, once the meeting is set, for sure, yeah, but the doodle polls are asking for, asking for your availability. I'll definitely get that to you. Melody, do you want to talk about the fundraising committee a little bit? What you've done, what your goal is for this year? I think you guys had.
We didn't have a meeting yet on that.
Okay. They did a kind of like a wine and canvas. Go ahead.
Yes,
You want to talk a
we
little bit
did.
about what you've done this
We
year?
did, so far we did
Yeah.
a whiting canvas, and that was at Galveston's. And then we also did what was the other one?
It was Chipotle,
What was it?
Five Guys.
Five Guys, it was Five Guys. We
Give
did
Back Night.
something, a give back night at Five Guys.
So if you have any innovative fundraising ideas that can be added to that, in addition to things like wine and canvas or give back nights, they would love to have you on the fundraising committee.
Sure.
Okay. I talked a little bit about education. Tyra, do you want to talk about the event that you were referencing with the keynote speaker?
Oh, I already talked about MIK. You want me to just talk about it in depth?
I just wanted them to know, we said, like, that you had said we're looking for a keynote speaker, but they don't know what that event is.
Oh.
We know what we do, what our...
Okay. Well, the Martin Luther King annual breakfast has been going on since, I don't know, even before I moved to Michigan City, and I moved here in 2000. So it is an annual community event, and there are representatives from various agencies in our community that represents helping fundraise and coordinate the speakers and the entertainment for the event to acknowledge the history and the life of Dr. Martin Luther King, what he stood for, and of course that as human rights commissioners, that's what we stand for, moving those particular missions forward. We do this in conjunction with PNW now. It took me a long time to be able to say that, but that's where it is held at annually.
That's really lovely.
No, it is very nice.
Okay, and then PFLAG?
Well, PFLAG, it's known as PFLAG now, like Cher is known as Cher, and Prince is known as the whole thing. PFLAG originally was formed as Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays, and it's for the LGBTQ community plus all of our allies, so anybody is welcome to come and attend the meetings. We'll do like a topic support, so we'll sort of go back and forth with those. This last month it was advocacy, since the legislature is going to be back in session in October down in Indianapolis. And I'm just guessing probably this next meeting will be a support type meeting. Very warm, open group. I love going to the meetings. I'm very sad when I'm out of town and I'm not able to be there. I feel Michigan City has always been very, very supportive of diversity and also the LGBTQ community. So everybody here feels very comfortable being a citizen in this community. And I know a lot of my friends have actually chosen to move to Michigan City because of the acceptance that's present here in the city. So we're actually looking for people on the board right now too, so if that's something that interests you, then you can let me know about that. And fundraising too, we do various events through the year, and then also we're the major sponsor for Pride, which happens in June in Michigan City, and it's been held so far the last Saturday of June, so I'm not sure if we're gonna continue on that schedule or not. But, we had, the first year we had over 2,000 attendees, and this last year we had over 5,000 attendees. So that says a lot about our community and our region, actually. So,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thank you. Yeah,
You know, there is still a big need. I just saw yesterday on the NBC Nightly News that there was a young man in high school who was outed without his consent, and they ended up killing himself the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a, you know, and I'm happy to see that it made the national news.
Yeah.
And it's still a problem. And I think organizations like yours, Nancy, that, you know, it's still needed. So thank you.
absolutely.
Thank you.
And the moms in the group are really great.
Yeah,
You know, anything that comes up in the community, whether it be the high school or wherever, they're there, you know, to support whomever it is that needs support. So, and I saw that this morning too, and it really tore at my heartstrings.
well, thank you. You do great work. We're lucky to have you.
Mhm.
Okay. Old business, let's address the budget.
Yeah, I just want, hopefully everybody's seen it now. It's come around, so hopefully everyone has seen it. And for those that were not here last month and maybe didn't look over the minutes real good, I'll just read the second paragraph here. Commissioner Corley reported the Finance Committee met to prepare the 2020 budget. A preliminary budget was attached to the board packet for review, and that's how I got mine. He explained that the fundraising goal is $1,000 for fundraising. After the committed funds of $7,600 have been made, the ending balance will be $1,492.25. Due to a lack of quorum, the treasurer's report and proposed 2020 budget will be hopefully approved at the October meeting. So we'll leave it open for someone to make a motion or questions.
I got a question. Last I recall, there was going to be some finalization in reference to what that line item budget was going to be coming from the city as a whole in reference to all of our particular budget was not going to be dependent on us fundraising. I did not see that in that. Is that something that is proposed in our 2020 budget?
No, there was no action taken by the commission to go before the city council and request any additional monies. That's how we got the 10,000 last time, because through Don,
Through Don.
Right.
right, they went to the council and we were granted $10,000, and we are at the end of it. But has been no, I think it was brought up one time, but there was no action taken toward requesting any additional funds. And right now, they're in the middle of the budget. Matter of fact, it's on the agenda for the night.
Okay, so I guess I was confused because my understanding that was going to be a renewal each year. I didn't know that as a commission, that was something that we had to continue to approach the council about. Because there's other organizations that fall under the city umbrella that do not have to do that, and I guess I am stumped on
I'm not sure.
Are you sure that it doesn't renew?
I'm not sure. Don's not here to clarify, so
I'm not sure either. Unfortunately, Don's not here, so we can't ask. And I just can't.
I thought it did. I thought it was to be put in the budget, and that would be
and that's why I was
ongoing.
looking for it as a line budget item, so.
Maybe you could contact Don and just inquire.
he'll be here shortly, because they have a big meeting about finance here in about.
Well, we could hold off again and approve in November. I mean, that's a huge question mark.
Is that going to change? That's not going to change.
I'm not gonna
the budget.
change our budget,
I mean,
but it
we could
is
do
a
that.
question I want explored.
Yeah, we could always add, you know, if we're getting the 10,000, we can always, you know, we're not gonna turn it down because it's not in the budget.
And we can go back and ask. It's nothing that said we can't ask.
We're still in the process now, so.
They're approving the overall city budget is going before the council tonight. But there's nothing that says that we can, as a commission, ask the council for that, if that's something that.
So the question is, are we included or are we not included in this new budget is the question.
I would say no at this time. as far
But
as,
that is the
as
question.
far as the
We do not
as far
have
as
the
getting a
answer to that.
donation from the appropriate funding by the council.
And it should be a donation. That's where my understanding is. I guess I'm confused in reference to the lingo. But that's discussion we can explore more with Don. I mean, it's not gonna change our budget today.
Correct. Now, I suppose if you
So,
wanted
but
to.
that's something I would like to explore.
Yeah, well, we absolutely have to. And if you'd like to, I suppose it could have an effect. I mean, if we're not gonna get 10,000, then, I suppose the rest of the budget could be amended to reflect that, but this is what the committee, Marty's committee came up with. I do want to get the budget done, and if we were gonna have a quorum next month, and we're for sure gonna do it, then I'd have no problem.
Well, I don't think anybody has a problem looking at that budget today. We're all just saying we want that explored and to be able to revisit that so we can see what adjustments we need to make in the budget moving forward. No one's not saying that we're not ready to look at that budget. We're just exploring, because that's a question. Where is it? Didn't see it in the line budget item.
And Don is usually always here, so it's really too bad that he's not here today.
Did you want to take a vote on that tonight?
It's up to the committee.
Somebody need to make a motion?
Second.
Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the budget?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Tyra,
Carl?
make your motion on the MLK.
I forgot.
On the MLK, at this particular point, am I allowed to make the motion?
Yeah, that close.
I didn't know if you had to introduce the motion first. Am I okay to make?
You can make the motion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I would like to make the motion that we approve the line budget item to continue to support the MLK annual breakfast.
That amount is 500.
500, I apologize.
I'd second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No problem.
Great.
Okay, good.
Carl, will you follow up with Don about the city council contribution?
Oh, yeah.
And whether it's reoccurring and whether it's a donation or what technically that is?
Mm-hmm.
And then send an email to us to let us know?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
In fact, at the last, when we did our presentation, the yearly presentation, I did advise the council that it was very much possible that we would be coming back to them asking for their help again for this year. So we just formally need to make that decision and do that.
Came in handy just for going down to the consortium meeting.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's
Absolutely,
really a nice thing to
It's a
have.
nice precedent too for the city to set for making that investment in, human rights in their community.
And during the course of the finance commission meetings that they held recently, I stressed that it's important for us to have funding, so they gave individual funding to the Human Rights Department to attend conferences so that additional commissioners could attend conferences out of the commission's budget. So that would be a reason for asking for the appropriate funding to attend conferences like the disabilities conference is coming up. So those are things, anything, training activities certainly would fall in that category.
Okay. We don't have anything under new business.
Well, I had something that I brought up in an email, if that's okay. Looking forward in November 5th is a holiday, well, it's county holiday, I don't know if it's everybody's
Election
holiday.
day.
Election
Yeah.
day. Oh,
And so, I know in the past, and I know we all kind of slacked on it in reference to revisiting and rescheduling our meeting times to not conflict with that, so we can make sure we have everybody present to have quorum.
That's the first two.
But it's, the first Tuesday is election day.
Okay.
Yeah, we have to do that. City Hall might be closed, so we wouldn't be able to meet. So, yeah. So what about the
Up
next?
to the 12th.
Well, it's Veterans Day.
That's what,
I was gonna say 12th is Veterans Day.
wow. The 19th?
That's getting pretty close to Thanksgiving, isn't it?
No,
Is it an option to do it on a different day? Do we have to keep Tuesday?
Thanksgiving's the
It's the next week. I mean, we don't have to do it on Tuesday,
We
but
could
it's
do
just,
it on
Just
Wednesday the
November
6th. Does Wednesday the 6th work? Does anybody have an objection to Wednesday the 6th?
No.
Pastor Carol?
Hi, thank you. Wednesday the 6th. Of 6th
November,
of November, yeah.
so the first Wednesday.
November, okay.
Okay, let's set for Wednesday the 6th.
Same time?
Same time, same
Carl,
time.
you okay?
So, is that agreeable with everybody?
Hopefully we can get the
Can
room.
we get the room?
We can get the room.
Yes.
Carl, will you make that request?
Yeah.
3410,
Is that
Okay,
right?
next meeting, Wednesday the 6th?
Wednesday, November 6th. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thanks for bringing
Tara.
that up, Eddie. You're tired, huh?
Any public comment?
Are we still under new business though?
Sure.
Yes.
Public comment?
Let's finish up new business. I'm sorry, Pastor Carol.
Okay.
I'm not sure this would be new business, but I want to mention it. Minority Health Partners is in the Lab Commission grant, and we have contacted A.K. Smith Center to include the students there in being able to test their homes to see if there's lead contamination there. And so I think we're partnering with Season B G. Coleman and is it Dick's Sporting Good?
That's the thing.
Yeah, okay. Well, they have said they would like to come on board, and so that's going to be something new that we're going to do with, what's her name, up at the A.K. Smith Center.
Audra?
Audra Peters. And so that you'll probably be seeing something about on the internet, in the paper, or on public access. We're going to include the students.
Wonderful. Is there any other public comment?
Public comment. At the Rotary, I was very pleased to be honored the Paul Harrison Award for polio. And so that was exciting to me to get that award from Marty and from Jessica O'Brien. And so, because I had polio when I was in the iron lung, and they made it a big, and I told them, I said, one thing I don't want it about me. I want it about children back in my time that had an epidemic of polio, that lived, survivors, and those that are still here. I got post-polio syndrome right now. And that the Rotary Club was very with my mother and father all the way through it. If it wasn't for them, my dad was quarantined from work for 3.5 months. I was in an iron lung for 2.5 months and was paralyzed from my neck down. And so I'm trying to give back. I'm on the board of directors at Camp Millhouse. It used to be for people with polio. When we had the epidemic back in 1950 and 51 and 52, and it's called Camp Millhouse. I'm on the board of directors now there. They just said I made the wrong phone number and got a hold of them. And it must have been like hitting the lottery. And I said, well, I was at Camp Millhouse for 60 years ago. And I was a camper. I was a counselor, pool attendant, and then I was director of him that many years ago. And so anyway, they came up and visited me and asked me if I would like to, how would I like to end my camping experience. I said, well, I'll be on the board. They need somebody on the board. I'll be more than happy to. So anyway, I'm starting, now there's what's called post-polio syndrome. But that's being eradicated except for Nigeria and Pakistan. They still have it.
Well, thanks for all of your great work with that, Pastor Carol, and thanks to the Rotary Club of Michigan City for all of their great work with polio and working with you to help bring that message forward. And yeah, great work.
Well, at my church, I'm going to be starting now that really touched my heart, because now at that camp, it's cancer, children with cancer, children with multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Down syndrome. So what I'm in process of doing in my church is having for Down syndrome. Down syndrome really touched my heart. It really, really touched me when I met all those adults and children and worked with them this summer. It was really quite an experience. So,
Thank you for everything you do, Pastor Carroll.
pardon me.
Thank you for everything you do.
Why, thank you. That's my
Congratulations on your award.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
Any other public comment? Okay. Motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second. Any further discussion?
Who's the second?
Me. All in favor?
Aye.
Say all opposed.